we referenced this earlier in the show about oftentimes one spouse is way more locked into financial matters than the other. Most often, in my experience, I think it would probably be yours too, that it's probably the male, but it's not always, but most of the time it is the male that's kind of in charge of the finances, knows what's going on, not necessarily controlling spending, but controlling where things are, right? Where the retirement
Casting
funds
the vision,
are.
maybe.
Casting the vision, coming in with the idea of what we need to do and understands more from a financial side, and the other spouse does not.
Yeah, and let's dig into this for just a second. If you think about it, statistics show that males usually predecease the female.
Yep.
And for the female to be the passive one in that relationship as far as finances are concerned really is kind of setting them up for disaster in the future, because if they don't know an awful lot about the finances and then they're left with all of it, then that's a really hard thing to do, especially as you get older.
I think the key is too the time. I have a client whose husband was primarily the financial mind, and he did pass away in this past year, and it's just added stress. She felt like she was prepared because they had had some conversations, but then there were pieces that snuck up on her. And I just hate to see that additional stress fall to her. So it's been really, it's so important to make sure you've got your Honey, I Love You file together. We've talked about that before. Make sure that your spouse knows all the passwords, all the usernames, so they can get the information they need and to have all your ducks in a row.
I have a client who came in just yesterday, and he brought it in to show us. He calls it the book. He's got a lot of stuff going on in his life, but he's got a book.
Yeah.
And all of his information on his Gen Wealth accounts, who his advisors are here, and all of that type of thing was all in there. But there was also lots of other stuff in there. All of his passwords to all of the websites that he uses and what have you are all in there. It was probably one of the more prepared people that I've seen to be sure that things were okay when they are called away.
Yeah. And I think it's important, too, to point out that when we see the couples come in and that's the situation that one is more locked into the finances than the other, that's probably a reason that they have made it to retirement as a married couple, because I think it works well in life, right? Because most divorces happen because of money.
Butting heads over that.
Yeah, butting heads over money. So it's great that one person has kind of you've been able to work that out in marriage, but when it comes to retirement, the game is changing, and I think that's great what you said about your client. We also we met with a couple yesterday, in fact, where there's a significant age difference. The male is 60 years old, and the wife is 53, so about a 7-year difference, and he has already chosen a straight life pension for his retirement and is receiving it. So too late to do anything about that, but now the planning process is, and that's when we came out of the meeting room, I talked to Mark and I said that's our number one goal right there is what happens.
What's gonna happen? Because
it's likely statistically that the man in that relationship is going to pass away before the female, and she may live a very long life without a pension. So our goal there is to find a way with their assets to replace that pension when the day comes. Want more content like this delivered to your inbox weekly? Visit fastest4.com to learn more.